Some betrayals come like a slap in the face. Sudden, violent, unforgettable. But others unfold like a symphony. Quiet, methodical, devastating. This is one of those stories. The night I confessed my affair, I was certain I had destroyed everything. Evan didn't scream. He didn't throw anything. He just stared at me like I was a stranger. I remember his silence more than anything else. It was a kind of silence that makes your skin itch, that makes you want to beg, scream, plead, anything to fill the void. It was a mistake, I whispered, tears already slipping down my cheeks. It didn't mean anything. It was over before it even began. He nodded once, slowly. Then he stood up and walked out the front door. I thought that was it. I thought I'd lost him forever. But 2 days later, he came back, bags in hand, eyes tired but not angry, and he said, "Let's try." I couldn't believe it. Relief washed over me so fast, I nearly collapsed. I promised him everything, therapy, full honesty, rebuilding trust. Whatever he needed, I'd give it. I thought we could make it. But I missed something, a change in his eyes. I didn't realize Evan hadn't forgiven me. He was plotting. It started with little things. He became more attentive, brought me coffee in bed, rubbed my shoulders while I cooked, sent texts in the middle of the day that said, "Thinking of you." I ate it up like a starving woman. I thought this was love rebuilding itself, that we were going to come out stronger. Then he started suggesting we hang out with friends again, his friends. One night, we went to a dinner party at his co-worker's place. Everyone was warm, polite, normal, but the way they looked at me made my skin crawl, like they knew something, like I was on a stage and didn't know my lines. After we left, I asked Evan if I was imagining things. He kissed my hand and said, "They're just happy we're doing okay." I wanted to believe that, but more strange things followed. He encouraged me to take a weekend trip with my sister, said it would be good for me. I was hesitant. Leaving felt like walking away from the fragile threads holding us together, but he insisted. When I came back, I noticed something odd. The picture frame in the hallway, the one that used to hold a photo from our honeymoon, now showed an empty beach. "Did you change this?" I asked. Evan looked up from his book. "Oh, yeah." That photo was kind of faded. I liked this one better. It was such a small thing, but it struck something in me. I brushed it off, told myself I was being paranoid. A few weeks later, we hosted dinner at our place. Evan cooked. He even cleaned. He was charming and attentive, the perfect host. One of the guests, a woman named Lydia, someone I barely knew, stayed behind to help me with the dishes. She smiled and said, "It's amazing, really. Most men would have left after what happened." My heart stopped. "I'm sorry." I asked, trying to sound casual. She tilted her head. "You know, after you, cheated, it's admirable that Evan gave you a second chance." I felt dizzy. I never told Evan's friends. Not a single one. But they knew. That night, I confronted him. "You told them?" I asked. Evan didn't deny it. He just shrugged. "I needed people to talk to. I didn't think you'd care." I did care. Because it wasn't just a confession. It was exposure. Humiliation. A private mistake turned into social currency. I started to see everything differently after that. How he had stopped leaving his phone around. How I once overheard him on a call, laughing and saying, "No, not yet. Soon." How he started bringing up topics like prenups, just out of curiosity. Then came the memory jar. One night, he surprised me with a glass jar filled with folded notes. "I want us to remember the good," he said. I pulled one out. It said, "Our first snow day in the cabin, as before you ruined it." I laughed awkwardly. "That's dark." He just smiled. "Honest." I looked at the rest. Each note was a landmine. When I trusted you completely. The day I bought your ring and thought I was the luckiest man alive. When you said forever and I believed you. It wasn't a memory jar. It was a weapon. Things escalated. I got a call from HR at my job. Someone had anonymously emailed screenshots of a year-old flirtatious conversation I'd had with a client, long before Evan even knew about the affair. They didn't fire me, but I was reprimanded. My reputation took a hit. Guess who had access to that account? Then our family started acting strange. My parents suddenly brought up my past mistakes during dinner. My own mother looked at me with quiet disappointment. Evan was always just out of earshot when it happened. That's when I started digging. I checked his old laptop while he was at work. He'd forgotten to log out of an email account. There it was, a folder titled Restoration. Inside, drafted emails to my boss, a document titled Therapy Journal. Not real, a shared Google Drive with surveillance-style notes, dates, times, places I'd gone even after I confessed, a spreadsheet labeled Public Exposure Plan. My knees gave out. I sat there rereading one note that said, "Make her believe she's healing. Make her feel safe." Then slowly unravel it. I was never being forgiven. I was being studied, tracked, punished. I packed a bag before I got home, left a note, said nothing else. I moved in with my sister that night. Evan never called, never messaged, never even asked where I went. 3 weeks later, a friend sent me a link to a podcast episode. It was Evan sharing his healing journey, talking about betrayal, forgiveness, recovery. He told the whole world, just carefully enough not to mention names, how he rebuilt his life after being hurt. He was the victim, and I was the story that made him a star. I guess he did forgive me, just not for me, for the narrative, for the control. And maybe in some twisted way, he did heal, but I didn't. Not yet, but I'm trying. One truth at a time. Sometimes, the ones who say they've forgiven you are just better actors. In this case, he didn't need revenge to be loud, because he made it viral.